Hello and welcome to another episode of Change. Things change. Sometimes we make those changes to happen. When a child was born, how much did a child know? And when he grows up, when he becomes an adult, then there are a lot of changes that have happened in him. One of the most common changes, which is significant, which is visible, is the change of his mindset. The things that he has known. As a child, he could have not known much, but when he has become an adult today, he knows a lot more. There is a quest for knowledge in the human race. Ever since the time of beginning, human beings have always wanted to know. The popular story of Adam and Eve also talks about eating the fruit of knowledge. What is this quest for knowledge? And today, we boast ourselves of an educated class. We call ourselves as a human race which has studied, learned, and a lot more than our previous generations. Where have we come? What are the changes that have happened in us? Let's talk about this today. And we have Rajyoga Brahmakumaris BK Usha with us. Didi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
When we talk about knowledge, everybody wants to know something. There are prayers to the Almighty asking Him for knowledge. A popular prayer from the Vedas the Upanishads suggest that take us from ignorance to knowledge. So when we ask for knowledge, this knowledge, the quest for knowledge has been there from time immemorial and it still continues. And everybody today is being educated. Okay, you must know. But why is this quest?
Because it is the intrinsic value of each and every individual that everybody wants to know something. A child, when it cannot speak, and we put some toy which is making noise, and the child would go for it to find out where the noise is coming from. And he would try to break the toy to see where the noise is coming from. So that shows that it is the basic intrinsic value of each and every individual to know. And from that time, the child wants to know. He wants to know the surroundings. He wants to understand what is going on, where the noise is coming from, about the birds, about the animals, about any toys, whatever we put in front of him. Although he doesn't know what the toy actually is representing, but he wants to know where the noise is coming from. And that is why he goes forward to break that toy. So since that day, each and every individual is grown up to know. But afterwards, when we start going to school, then we find instead of knowing the quest that we had which from within, to know about the world, to know about our relationships, to know about the environment, that was gone away. And instead of knowledge, today there is just information. Very rightly somebody said, in the quest of wisdom, there was knowledge. And okay, we accepted that also. But today we have lost that knowledge in information.
So in the quest of knowledge, now we have information. And
So
I think
the wisdom was lost in knowledge, and today knowledge is lost in information.
And I would not be surprised that in the coming ages, if we continue like this, information will be lost in data.
Sure.
There is a difference between literacy and education. Governments have worked very hard to bring up literacy rates everywhere. In India especially, if we talk about Kerala is one of the most literate states.
Yes.
And there are still states which do not crack the national average for literacy also. So there is a huge difference. The ability to count, the ability to read is what the governments are working on. But at the same time, we have also seen that the schooling system brings out children who are literate, they can count and read, but they are not very well educated. They do not know how to behave, they do not know how to interact. There are a lot of other things that are missing. I think the ancient system of education in India was the Gurukul system. The focus was on learning, and learning was for life.
Yes.
But today, I am only trying to read and study and do things only because I want to score good marks.
Yes.
So, what is the purpose of education? Was it to actually know and understand things? And here we are on the other end of the spectrum, where it is learning for the sake of learning. If I would dare say, I would say learning for the sake of earning.
Definitely. Before, in the Gurukuls, when they were taught the scriptures had wisdom in it. And the scriptures were taught to them so that that inner potential can be brought out. Because each and every individual has that potential. But we need to tap it. And the way of tapping it was that by telling them stories so that it would interest the children. So Ramayana, Mahabharata, all these stories, Bhagavad, all these stories which were told. And in that, there were basically values shown. Family values, students' values, or as children's values in a family. As they grow up, their responsibility towards the society, towards sages, towards the fellow men. All this was taught in form of stories, and that is how they were given thoughts to ponder upon. That seeing this story now, what do you understand? So that they come out what they have seen practically and what they are learning through that story. Even everywhere, small children are always to teach them some morals. Modern education would also tell them stories. And in those stories, those morals would be taught to them. So similarly, in Gurukuls, in the scriptures, whatever the values were there and the potential which is hidden in us, that has to be tapped and brought out. So that was taught. In India, if we talk about Nalanda University and Takshashila University, these were the two famous universities where education was complete and perfect. And those gurus were also so profound that their wisdom and the knowledge they possessed was so much. Nobody can beat them. Even modern science cannot beat them. It was India that gave zero to the world to calculate. And that is how modern science also developed. But gradually what happened, in the name of education, those gurukuls were closed down. An education system was brought in. Education, this word comes from a Latin word, educare. And educare means to bring out what is within. Bring that potential out in our practical life. But in the name of education, we started giving information to the students, and that potential was not brought out. During those days also, there were very good teachers. In order to bring out the potential of the student, they sometimes were quite strict also. If they saw that the child was not in discipline, they used to see that they are in discipline. And they used to give them punishment also for that. But since in today's education system, when the parents feel, oh, the attachment to the children is sometimes so deep that they feel, no, our children should not be touched also. They should not even be punished also. So the teachers, they thought, why should we care? Because some parents file cases around on teachers. So they have stopped all that. If you want to learn, learn. If you don't want to learn,
let it be.
Let it be.
When you talk about this thing, I remember, as children we were beaten. Beaten by our parents, beaten by our teachers. Not because of they hated us or they did not like something, but certainly they wanted to teach us a lesson. So we were punished, but at the same time, we were not afraid of our teachers.
Yeah.
We had a great deal of respect. Of course, when they would punish, we were afraid of the punishment, that if we do something wrong, this is what would happen. Moving further.
We used to get canes. Boys on the back,
yes,
and girls on the hand. And every time we found that there was a fun in that also.
Yes.
I remember my cousin, one of my cousin, he was in the same school. We were in the he was just one class ahead. And I don't know which subject they hated. I think it was history. They hated history. So both of them, my cousin and his friend, they would go for toilet, and then there they would take some chalks and they would beat one another, play with one another. One day the principal was on a round, and he happened to just open the toilet and see what is there, if there is someone inside. So he saw these two boys playing. So he called them, come to my office. So they knew they are going to get a cane now. So 7th class, they were in 7th class. So they went into the principal's office, and first the other boy, his friend, went in. He got a cane and he came out crying. So my cousin, he asked him, it hurts? So he says, yes. So he knew that he is going to be beaten now. So he went inside, and as the principal was about to hit, he went underneath the table. And the cane banged with the table and the floor, and it broke. So the principal, okay, go now. I don't have a cane. So he came out laughing. So the other boy asked him why he didn't hit you. So then when I came to know, I started teasing him, and I said, look, I'm going to complain to the parents now.
Yes.
That you are playing mischief in school. I said, no, don't say anything about this. Don't say anything. Otherwise, at home also we are going to get the beating.
Get beatings. Yes, it's true.
So it was fun. Yes. It was fun. Those days, I believe, even getting a cane was nothing like it. Yes. It was like enjoying.
It was part of growing up in life. When we talk about parents today and how their views are about education, most of the students have that inquisitiveness, children especially, when the school-going children, they have this desire to know, to find out why this happens. But since there is a systemized education system, and we still, we must say that the British education system that still runs in India, that came in at the time of the First War of Indian Independence, after that, Lord Macaulay's education system, where English became a prominent language, and the old education system of India slowly vanished away and faded, and the new system came in.
Yes.
The purpose of education here is to score marks.
Yes.
Like you go to school, even in social circles, if you would believe, if there is a birthday party happening of a child, most of the parents would discuss with each other's parents about how much marks did your son score? How much did your daughter score? The scores have become important. How much this child has learned? How much has she performed in dance? And how good is she in social skills? How compatible is she with her friends?
Yeah, that is not seen.
It's not seen. Nobody is measuring that, and nobody is trying to teach that. So everything is leading to marks and scores. So there is a constant pressure on children to study hard. So the focus is not on learning, but it is about scoring.
Scoring, yeah. And that is why, although the children have talents, but the talents are not brought out. Even if they participate in a competition so that they can bring out their talent, but still, that is least considered. No need for all this now. After you grow up, you can go into this various interest, but now focus on your study. Focus on bringing marks, 80%, 90%. So much pressure that sometimes children land up in depression because of that.
Yes.
Because they know themselves, they know their potential, that maybe they are not able to bring that marks. So although they are very good in relationships with others, they are very good in performing different other things, but still they commit suicides finally. So this has become the system, and so that potential which needed to be brought out, that focus is not there. That focus is not there. Many times, many parents come up to me also. Our child, he has a weak memory, his concentration is not good. What can we do to improve his concentration? Can meditation help in improving the concentration? But I ask those parents, your child must be having some other talent. And I give the parents example. Look, they can be very good at singing maybe. They can be very good at dancing maybe. Let those talents also come out. Today if we see Lata Mangeshkar is also earning, she is also the Nightingale of India, and she has a very good voice. Maybe she did not have that much of education.
True.
Sachin Tendulkar is also very good. He has done very good in life. He is earning very well. He was not a very good bright student at school, but still. So there are many such examples. I give those parents that look, you understand your child. He must be having a talent, and you help him focus on that talent. He will earn a name. He will glorify your name as well. Let them come out with those qualities, and maybe they'll be very happy. Instead of scoring 90% and above, and if they're not happy, what's the use?
True.
They may be doing a lot of cheating to get those marks so that they can satisfy you. But that is not honest practice. And if they are going to start cheating now, what are we making them in the future? What type of citizens are we making them? So don't make such citizens. Let your child come out with very good qualities in him.
I was reading an article. It very beautifully pointed out one line. It was written. He said, "We are creating a class of educated rascals." And when I read that, the author wrote about it, and it was very beautifully pointed out that today we are judging children by their ability to score marks. What if a person is not good in maths?
Yeah.
What if she is good in painting or sculpting or dance or singing or something else, or sport? The line said, we are trying to judge an elephant by its ability to climb a tree, and we are trying to judge the capacity of a fish by its ability to stay out of water, which is not possible. The fish is good in the water, the elephant is good on the land. But if you'd ask the elephant to climb a tree, and then, if you climb a tree, then you're good at it.
Yeah.
And if you say, fish, you must be out of the water, only then we think that you have performed well, then I do not think so that we are landing up anywhere.
Yes. Very true, very true. And that is what is happening in the world. And that is why we find those children get suppressed, and they get depressed, and they start thinking negative. We are good for nothing. This is what they start thinking about themselves. that because we cannot perform like other, we cannot get scores like other, even parents, they start comparing between two children also.
Yes.
Their own children. If one is good in academics and the other is good in sports, still the one who is doing good in sports, they won't promote him for sports. They want him to also be good in academics also. And that is when they start comparing. And either that young one who is good at sports, he revolts, he violently becomes angry or becomes jealous of his elder brother, and this is where the family is not going to stay in harmony. It's just going to break up.
At the last point, the last question I would want to ask is, you talked about how the education system was before, how values were important and what was taught and how that helped in creating a better society, a better family. Now we are at a point here where modernity is there. We are at crossroads of what to do and what not to do. We talk about all-round development of children. We want the same child to go to tuition for music, want to go him to karate class, want him to go to different things. And we want an all-round development. But for the sake of all-round development, there's a huge pressure on the child also. Now, people who have heard what we have spoken so far, now if they want to make a change, where do they start? What is the simple thing that they must change today so that later on it would help them?
I would say, and I would suggest that parents also, instead of demanding from the children the scores in academics only, understand your own child's potential. What is he good at? Is he good at singing or dancing or whichever? And promote him in that area. He will feel so good. He will feel as if he is being loved and cared and understood. And he will glorify your name anyway. On the contrary, if you promote him in those activities also, then also he would be honest in his life and he would not take other supports to go ahead in life, or wrong supports to go ahead in life, which is not good. Because once the mind becomes vicious, if a person gets irritated from inside, and that irritation would lead him into some negative direction. So instead of wanting just to score good marks and good in academics, it is better whatever he loves in life, let him come up in that way.
To support whatever he loves doing.
Yes.
And probably that would make him much more good than just scoring marks.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Didi. As much as I appreciate these things, I think our friends who would listen to these things would value it and start bringing about small changes like this. Just the way that we look at our children's education would change a lot of things. Thank you for being on the show.
It's my pleasure.
That was education on this episode of Change. The purpose of education is to enlighten minds. And you must learn by enjoying what you are doing. And if you do not enjoy learning, I do not think so that is a learning worth having. That's all for today. We'll see you in another episode of Change. Till then, take care.
हमारे YouTube चैनल गॉडलीवुड स्टूडियो को सब्सक्राइब करें और साथ ही हर नए वीडियो के अपडेट के लिए बेल आइकन को क्लिक करें।